Hello and welcome to a very special Chelsea Flower Show. It's a centenary, so happy birthday Chelsea. This must be the grandest trade show on earth. The Queen comes and it opens the English social season. One of the great things about Chelsea is that it's always popular. One thing that has changed is money. When Chelsea began, the nurseries could afford to put their own gardens together. But they cost hundreds of thousands of pounds, which is why big business has stepped in to help. This garden is sponsored by Laurent Perrier and designed by Ulf Nordveld, the great Swedish gold winner. The RBC garden, the Royal Bank of Canada garden, is designed by Nigel Dunnett, and that really showcases the company's approach to sustainable water. Whatever the messages behind the gardens, it's the plants that really matter.
Plants brought back by plant hunters from abroad appeared at Chelsea from the very first year. In 1913, for example, there was Meconopsis delavei, one of the Asiatic blue poppies that were extraordinarily popular in the beginning of the 20th century. China began to be systematically explored by plant hunters. And there's a range of plant hunters about the beginning of the 20th century, Reginald Farrer, George Forrest, Frank Kingdon Ward, and others, who trawled through China, the Himalayas, northern Burma, etc., and brought back masses and masses of plants. Reginald Farrer was the period's authority on the making of rock gardens and alpine plants, and he was a very prickly and pugnacious person. And you can tell that by the annotation that he's written on the mount of this drawing. He identifies it as having been made in the upper stony shingle of the Tian Shan Alps. And then he says, "No, my dear lady, it is no good your saying that your Aunt Matilda grows this in her garden at Balham. She doesn't. This is a new plant introduced into cultivation by me in 1914. I think that tells you most of what you need to know about Reginald Farrer as a person.
Well, I am delighted to say that the great British tradition of completely balmy plant hunters is not over yet. Hello, Tom Hart Dyke.
What a good introduction, Jane.
How did you get into plant hunting?
At a very young age, it was my dear granny, bless her, passed away a couple of years ago at nearly 96, who started me off at the age of 3 with a packet of carrot seeds and a trowel.
Tell me about your enthusiasm. What is it, Tom?
Lots of things, but in particular, these plants here, the world's largest family of flowering plants, mostly tropical orchids that you've got from the Panamanian Colombian jungle, which I'm very familiar with after being kidnapped for 3/4 of a year by Colombian guerrillas 13 years ago looking for rare species of orchid.
And of course, the guerrillas wouldn't believe that you were a plant hunter, would they?
They wouldn't believe I was a plant hunter, thought that I was sort of a drug baron or CIA runner or something like that. And these particular types, these pansy orchids or Miltonias, are particular plants that were growing in that region. And there's something about orchids, they're very intricate, they're very lightly scented sometimes, and they are truly and utterly naughty.
Tom's one of those who makes sure that Chelsea is live and kicking. But what about the future? This is Ben Dark, and congratulations on your new job.
Thank you very much.
Gardener at Chiswick House Gardens.
Yes, that's right, as of last week.
Now, how did a young thing like you get into gardening?
Well, the main reason was it was a reaction against an office job that I had for 3 months and absolutely hated. And I thought, what was the opposite of being an office manager? And ended up being a gardener for a summer. After the end of the summer, I decided, right, this is going to be my job. I'm going to get trained up, get my qualifications, and here I am, covered in mud, a gardener.
So do you think that for your generation, gardening has a relevance, Chelsea has a relevance?
Chelsea has a relevance in terms of it's sort of a big party, people know about it, but in terms of people's lives and taking ideas from it, not at all. They're more interested in the sort of the ecological stuff or growing bits of edible stuff in scrublands around the housing estates and things like that, not really about the things that go on in there.
So what can Chelsea do to help? Provide more apprenticeships?
Yes, provide more apprenticeships and also just use its weight to get sort of money into the business.
Thank you, Ben. Well, Chelsea certainly has the firepower and the connections to help. So let's hope the show's next century will be even better than its first.